I'm here in nature, and guess what I'm looking for? I'm looking for the perfect place, the perfect light, the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect words of inspiration. And I know too often it's easy to fall for that and to wait for the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect place. There's distractions around. Down there they have trucks, there's children, there's dogs, and it's so easy to use that as a silly ass excuse to not take charge in the here, in the now. It's an obsession we all have. It's almost like an addiction. And we simply must become aware of it so we can start to remedy. Yes, I got news for me, I got news for you. The perfect time will never come. And then we postpone. But I don't think it's a very good time to postpone anymore. So I have a genuine question for you. And then, because I'm not here with you, I don't know how you're going to answer the question. I can guess 2.5 decades of pursuing better ways. I'm no better than anybody, but I have made my vocation, my mission, finding ways to evolve, to reach higher levels of consciousness, ways of living, of dealing with all the majors of life that will improve those conditions we all deal with, and we forget when we're in isolation. We think that it's our problem, and yet it's the same for everybody. So I can kind of guess some of the answers that I will hear, and then if you allow me, I will answer my own question, not for you, but for me, and you'll find that my answer is probably gonna be a little bit brutal, because I realize that that is the way to really make things happen. So what is the question? What is the question? How do you want to remember by the time it's the 30s, the 20s? I repeat, how do you want to remember by the time it's the 30s, the 20s? And no, I'm not talking about Art Deco, even though there's a beautiful piece of Art Deco back there, the Griffith Observatory that you probably couldn't see because I don't have the perfect light right now. I'm not talking about foxtrot. You probably can do a good foxtrot. See, I'm not talking about that. We're not talking about the 1920s. We're talking about the 2020s. The 2020s. We stand at the doorway of a new decade. You've experienced new decades before at a personal level. We know that it's not always easy to process a new decade. When I coach every day, I hear guys in their 20s tell me that they mess up their whole life, and I'm like, you're in your 20s. I hear guys say that in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, and beyond, and beyond. At a global level, one thing that's guaranteed is that a new decade will kind of stir new protocols of business, new ways for all the millennial. Then it's going to be the big realization that technology, sometimes, you know, like those people who have gotten used to the rotary phone, and then as if it wasn't enough for them, it evolves, it becomes something else, okay? So there's gonna be change and motion guaranteed around us. And yet, what about changing? Really, what do you want this new decade to be about for you? Of course, if you ask people in general, if you use that to do your pickup, hey, quick question. You're gonna hear everybody. I have yet to meet one person, there's probably a couple of weirdos out there, but one person that will not want to be richer, fitter, better off, whatever the sense of better off is. But then we look around, and I think that things tend to remain pretty much the same. Yes, some go at it a little stronger, but then do you really witness significant, dramatic improvement? Do you really witness many who have topped themselves way, way, way further than the best they had done? If I look at people around me and people in general, you know, the fit guy, you usually find him fit, but do you find him way fitter? The guy is doing okay with money. Do you find him doing okay with money? History repeats itself. Until you begin to defy the odds. But the odds are not in our favor. Because for things to change, it's not enough to wish, to hope, not even enough to decide, because I bet it's not the first time that you decided that things were going to change for you. We need to dedicate ourselves to a deeper level of examination. We need to stay with it. We need to really look back at the prior decade with deeper honesty, because it's easy to either be in a pity party and go, oh man, I messed up, or to just stay on your laurels and claim victory. So, what's the protocol? What is the brutal fucking honesty I was gonna tell you about? Well, you know, we've all heard, whether or not you're into that, God helps those who help themselves. And that is so fucking true, because until you really decide to help yourself, not much is going to change, okay? So right there, we gotta get real. And this message, I hear it, and I need to hear it, and I want to hear it, because I can tell you one thing. This new decade, that's my decade, that's the time. I don't care how far I've taken it before, I appreciate it. I don't care how many times I've fucked up before. What I want is to know this decade as my decade. And for some of us, if we wait another decade, and we wait until 2030 to wake the fuck up, that's probably gonna be I don't want to say too late, because it's never too late, you know? Everybody can have their own wake-up call. I've witnessed some of my former mentors, like Norman Vincent Peale, at 95 years old, picking up new stuff, learning new stuff. But it's going to be different, and if you can't get to that place right now, it's not going to become any easier. So you're just in denial, going around in fucking circles, hoping that somewhere, somehow, something is going to change. Everything will change around us, but those old principles are not going to change. I was blessed early on to be exposed to a process of championship. A real champion starts before. I said before, we stand at the door of a new decade. And that may sound a little dramatic, but still that is not enough, because, you know, stuff happens in life. I don't have to remind you of that. And we're never too far from the shit that happens to other people, and they never really planned it. I have yet to meet somebody who goes, yeah, my goal is I'm gonna fuck it all up, my health, my finances, everything. I wanna stay in that job I fucking hate. No. So we're never too far from that. On the other hand, are we far? Sometimes it seems far, like anybody who wants to be a millionaire, and who doesn't want to be a fucking millionaire? How far are we from that? Well, probably quite far, so we need to get a head start. A real champion doesn't wait until they enter the door, until everybody goes, Happy New Year. They do it before. It starts today. It starts now. It starts now. But that is a decision only you can make for yourself. And that's barely the beginning. Me, I'm warming up, because see, I'm very lucky. I've had the best mentors that early on in life, even though I could have listened a little bit more, recommended, hey, things are not going to change. And if you've been studying, you know who I'm referring to. Things are not going to change. They're going to be pretty much the same. That's what Jim Rohn told a big corporation who paid him over $1 million at the beginning of the new millennium. His answer was, imagine, we paid a fucking $1 million for this. What's he gonna say? How can we thrive in the new millennium? It's gonna be pretty much the same. Because things don't change. It's gonna be that polarity. There will be challenges that we cannot foresee right now, but the only thing we can do, we can better fucking prepare for them. There's also gonna be opportunities. But opportunities, they go by fast. You gotta be fast. You gotta be fast to grab an opportunity. So, not only was I blessed with those like old school, a lot of backbone motivational speakers, and to be there with them, because it's one thing to watch the video on YouTube. No, I wanted to meet them. And in a day and age where it wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna buy the download. It was like a fucking journey. I followed Tony Robbins to Australia, to Europe, Wales. I discovered Wales, going as a crew member with Tony Robbins, paying for my own expenses. That's the distance. You wanna cover more ground? You gotta learn how to go the motherfucking distance. That's me. You are you. Make your decision. And I know there's only two things, if you're still watching this right now, unless you spend so little time in nature that you felt like, oh, that looks nice in the background, or unless you have so few women in your life that you're eyeballing my girlfriend. I've noticed if there's a little pic of her on the video, there's a couple more clicks. It's interesting, it's funny, okay? So, and dealing with people, not easy. I gotta get to my trunk, and now my trunk is like, not as within reach as I had planned. See, even when you plan, it's gonna go sideways. Also, I'm blessed because I have incredible colleagues. We call ourselves the Avengers. Not because we're so special, but because we follow protocols. We listen to mindsets, not the little chatter in the background. See, right now I could be distracted by little voices in the background. We follow protocols, nurture mindset. It's an ongoing study. That's why we call it the evolution of consciousness. And we're going to top it. It's the VIP edition elite. We keep it all going. But right there, you know, we take 33 guys to join us in the process that makes the difference, that very few will partake in it. And sure, you can plan that you're gonna sit and you're gonna look back at your decade, but busy like you're about to be, you gotta take a chunk of time for it, make the time. So with the Avengers, we're gathering, and this is the time for you to first make the time. Make the time. You don't enter a new decade just by going, oh, it's midnight, I better write a revolution. This is what we do, a revolution, resolution. We also don't treat this lightly. At this point, because, you know, comes a time, if you don't hear it, then you don't hear it. Maybe you'll hear it at some other point. There's two reasons why you would not want to partake in this process where I gather with the Avengers, call to action. They will come the fucking distance, and they don't ask questions. We texted all of them yesterday, and have you seen how quickly they respond? And their response is, I'm in, got it, yes. We've had people, you know, like Hypnotica. He's gonna come all the way from San Diego. Does he even ask, like, can you guys get me a room? And what about this? Can you repeat the dates one more time? AZD driving from the Bay. His responses was like, I'm in, okay, got it, yes. That's what it takes. That's the level. So come and join us unless you have two motherfucking excuses. And I know what they are. I don't have the time. Who the fuck has the time? I told you already that I was looking for the perfect time, and the perfect time is now. So stop using that excuse. Not for me, but for you. And the other one is I don't have the money. Here's the problem. It takes two legs to walk, okay? So right there, why don't people's financial situation improve? You have those who spend casually, but never back it up with taking the next step, which is Now, whatever it takes, because I like to afford things, I'm taking that second step. And you have those who only take the opposite step of withholding, I don't have the money, and wow, that's really gonna help you have more money to repeat to yourself day after day. While I doubt you do it, I don't have the money. You probably go through all sorts of weird emotions and so on. So I said I would be brutal, and here's how I treated myself, okay? Right now, you are you, and you're at a place of a fucking choice, okay? So, in the new decade, is that gonna be the decade where your dreams are reality? No more fantasizing, wishy-washy, okay? We always hear about your dreams, follow your heart, but when does that come? It's gotta be more than just hearing it and cheering. You gotta fucking make it happen. Or, are you going to simply bury your fucking dreams of the next decade? And doesn't take a shovel. The moment you're not following through and following your heart and taking that leap of faith, then you may as well grab a fucking shovel and go and take all your dreams, your big dreams, because we're thinking big here. We're not talking about, oh, maybe I could do this and that. You deserve to be top, and the only way you're gonna be top is by topping it all, starting right here, right now. So, read more, and it's a yes or a no, because we can't have my colleagues come from that frame of mind I'm in and share that with debaters and masturbators. And I'm not insulting anyone, because if you take this personally, well, then we got to work on it. Enough said, got to go. See you. Hollywood lifestyle. And it's during the holidays, so don't say you don't have the fucking time. And, oh, I got to visit my family. Well, bring a bigger gift to your family. Anyway, they're going to piss you off after 2 days of being with them. You know that. Or if you're going to stay home because you need to rest, what are you going to do? You're going to eat too much, you're going to watch too much fucking TV, and then you'll enter the year behind already, dragging some excess weight. No more. Join me.